Well, hello. Hello. Hi. Hi. Nutella. ¿Cómo estás, Nutella?
Ay, ay, no me beses, no me beses, no me beses. Ay, amor, me va a tumbar.
So now we are in the marina, Manzanillo, which is my favorite marina in all of the Caribbean. This is the only place that I go to get work done on my boat. It's also cheap. The cost of living is cheap. You can rent an apartment for about $700, $600 a month for a nice 2-bedroom apartment. And the work is between $15 and $25 a day per person, depending on how much of an artisan you're hiring. So like a carpenter, a good carpenter is about $25 a day. To put that into perspective, if we were in the United States, a good boat carpenter would be about $125 an hour. So the same work that I can get, like for instance, I need to recalk the entire boat. I can get that done for maybe like $2 grand, $2.5 grand here, and it would cost $10,000 in the States, okay? We've got a lot of work to do on the boat, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I need done and exactly what we're gonna do, okay? Let's go. All right, we're getting the boat painted. I'm gonna have this boat turn from blue to white. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful. I gotta jump in here for a second and interrupt this. The video that you're watching is real time. We're about a month ahead actually. And we have sailed up to Cayman Islands. Well, actually we went to Cuba and then Cayman, and then we're going up to Bermuda and then Turks and Caicos, and then we're crossing the Atlantic. So we're pretty much sold out all the way to Turks and Caicos, but we still have spots for the Atlantic trip. We're going to Bermuda and then Azores, and then if you've never seen the Azores Islands, those are beautiful. And then Madeira, Canaries, Capo Verde, and on. So if you guys would like to join us for any of those trips, this is going to be a super cool trip and a good mile builder. It's great for new sailors. Go to www.sailingzingaro.com to see the schedule. Peace. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. What do you think? What do you think, little stinker? What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. Yeah. Come meet the little sailor. That sound you hear is a sander. It's actually 3 sanders. There's 5 guys working my boat today. 1 cutting out all of the caulking, 2 sanding, 1 sanding below, and 1 doing some fiberglass work. Yeah, 5. Woo! It's hot. I gotta leave these windows shut because see how dusty it is? I can't have all that dust from him coming back in here. It'll just be even worse. It's refit day 6, I think. Maybe 5, maybe 7, I'm not really sure. It's kind of, I'm all over the place because it's a mess. So let me explain to you just real quick on inside the boat. You see it's kind of a mess. I'm replacing the plumbing. So that white tube, that's part of the plumbing. I'm gonna do that with these. This is Propex and all of this stuff. I'll be making a separate video about that just because I want that video to be propagated differently. I want that video to be a standalone video, but I'll put some of that in here. First of all, I don't know if you can see it or not, but this is all fiberglass. That's fiberglass everywhere. It's all over the boat. I want to clean it tonight. It's fucking crazy amount of fiberglass. It's everywhere, all over the boat. Fiberglass. Hola chico, párate por un minuto. Todo por un minuto. Minuto.
Okay.
Gracias.
Okay, no problema. No problem.
Ok, necesito una huevala.
Hola.
Muchas gracias, brujita. ¿Qué haces? Esas cosas. So he's taking all of the osmosis bubbles and he's getting down to the fiberglass and refilling it. That way it doesn't have any voids left. That's the important part. They don't want any voids. That way when the new paint goes on, there's nothing trapped underneath to ruin the paint job. On this boat, they bolted that piece on, and I don't think they glassed it enough because the other side was sagging just a little bit. So I had them take it back and add some glass to it. Now it's really strong. So I honestly can't believe how fast they're doing this. This is like, they had only sanded the boat until 2 days ago. So this is all in the last 2 days, all that fiberglass work. They're super fast here. So these parts are already filled. This part's filled with epoxy. It's all wet, so I'm not going to touch it. But. So they'll let that dry tonight, and then tomorrow they'll come in and they'll shave it all down with the probably 80 grit, and then 100 grit, and then 120 grit, or 200 grit, whatever, and then you make it super smooth. Primer it, and once they primer it once, they'll see if they have any imperfections. They'll go back and they'll primer it again, sand it again. Make it all perfect and nice, and then they'll paint, they'll spray the white. They just finished this one right before I pulled in, and mine will be the same colors. So this is kind of a spoiler alert. If you don't want to see the end of the boat, skip this part. I thought maybe they were giving me special treatment because I was a YouTuber and I was taking video and they know it, but looking at this work, it's perfect. So it's not just me, it's every one they do. And you know, it's not perfect, but it's damn close, and for the price, I paid $5 grand for the entire boat. The entire boat. Try to get that anywhere else. That's hull and topside paint. My buddy James painted his 60-foot Bavaria I just took across the Atlantic a year ago. Cost him $40,000 in Spain to paint that boat. And that wasn't even the top size, that was just the hull. Crazy! That's 40 boat bucks. Imagine this, but white like that. Oh boy, it's gonna be nice. Blue is so hot. It looks really pretty, and it might, you know, it might garner more attention from a prospective buyer, like, ooh, look at that really nice, pretty blue boat. But I'm telling you guys, if you really want to cruise on a boat, you want a white boat. It is so freaking hot. I will never, ever, ever, ever buy another blue boat. So he's sanding all that paint away that's on the bottom because I had him raise the water line because the weight of the arch in the back made it droop a little bit, and he has to sand that and make it smooth. They took a nice, like, really aggressive tool and got all the paint off where we want to put anti-fouling, and then they'll make it flat, they'll make it nice and smooth, and then we'll put the anti-fouling up on fresh, primed, and epoxied fiberglass instead of on old paint that where it could probably come off. I'm super happy with this work, man. It's something I can't wait to see finished. Inside this thing, this little piece comes out, and you can turn it, and that's what changes the pitches of the props. Is this little gear right here? It's an amazing invention. I think it's probably German. All right, it's day 7. It's 1 week in the yard, and these guys are smoking through the boat. We're gonna go through all of the work that's been done so far, and I'm gonna take you on a walk of the boat. It's gonna be loud. You're gonna see there's like 8 people, including me, working on the boat every day for a week. So it is significantly different than the last time I showed you guys, and I've been peppering videos through this thing, but this is gonna be like, whoa, This is how much work can be done in a week at this yard. Check it out. Basically what happens is the paint gets water in it. There's just no way to have zero voids in paint or fiberglass or almost anything. And so that's why you hear about boats having osmosis. Well, paint can also have osmosis, and that was a big job here. You can see all of these marks here. These marks that are filled, boom, 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 there's like 100 of them. Those are all paint osmosis that they had to get rid of, or else when they adhered the paint onto the old paint, there would be water underneath and it would end up ruining the paint job. And then this is a repair job right here where the two pieces of boat were put together. And that was something that needed to be done since I bought the boat. And it's repaired on the outside and the inside. And actually I made it stronger because the glass that they used was just one layer. And I put 2 layers of Biax on it on the whole way around it. It looks really good. We've removed all of the hardware from the back. Everything's removed so it can be painted, and everything's been filled. It's all the little holes have been filled. Everything's been filled and sanded down and primered, and all good to go. These are the guys doing all the work. Give us a smile, guys.
Hola, hello.
Hello, hello. Activo.
Activo. Whoa, whoa.
These guys are busting their ass.
Colombia, Cartagena. Para el mundo.
Venezuela también, oíste.
These guys are busting their ass. They've been working on the boat for 8 or 10 hours a day, every single day. And they're the ones doing all the prep work, and then they'll be the ones spraying it too. Now let's talk about the bottom. The bottom was a big job too. I had Anna's cousin here for the last week helping me. And here's what we did. So the whole thing is sanded, and anytime we found any delamination, we took the delamination off. I'm also going today to remove this through hole, because this through hole is a through hole for the toilet, for the old toilet system to take in water. And we don't need it anymore because we're using fresh water. So I'm going to remove that, and we're going to cabo seal that up. And then this was a little bit of damage that's been pretty much evened out. This was a little bit of damage that's been pretty much evened out now. And then we'll fill this with Sigaflex. The bottom of the keel needs to be done. And then we've taken the propeller apart. There was a sink here that we'll change out too. So basically on the bottom we've taken out all of the osmosis, taken out all the delamination. There was some delamination on the rudder. Paint delamination on the rudder. There was some delamination here. So that was delaminated. And then this had water in it. You can see the water coming out. So now I'll fill these with epoxy. I'm going to fill these. And then once we fill those with epoxy, then we'll just smooth it out and paint it. I'm going to fill all the little nicks with epoxy. And that's going to be super smooth. The smoother the bottom is, the less growth will get on it. Because if you have a little notch in anything, or a 90-degree angle, or a little hole, scum is really hard to get out of that. So we're trying to make it as smooth as possible. That way, 1, it won't even grow there, and 2, it can't attach, and 3, it's easy to get off with just a rag. That's how that works. All right, let's go inside. Hi, buddy.
Hey.
This is one of the carpenters that's doing all the carpentry work. He's just fitting 2 new pieces of deck teak. Buen trabajo, mano. And I'm going to show you guys what they've been doing the last week. It's a ton of work. Look at all this. They've removed 90% of the caulking in the deck. So there's still a lot of teak here. You can see there's probably 5 or 10 or 6 mil, maybe 7 of teak. So it's still good teak. We just have to sand it down and fill it with caulk. So they've removed all the caulk back here, all of it here. You can see they've replaced a piece there. They removed it all here and here, here, up here. The whole boat is almost done. We're gonna move these fenders finally. Oh, it looks like there's a piece here that they replaced. Looks great. A piece here that they replaced. That looks great. I left those weights out for them. There's also pieces here that they replaced. Awesome. That broke when I broke my forestand. I never did replace it. After he's done taking the caulk out, it's got a lot of wood underneath, so sometimes it's just wood, and they need to take a multi-tool, oscillating tool, and grind that out. And then what they'll do is they'll go through and they'll paint everything with epoxy and get it all sealed, and then they'll sand the top, fill it, and then sand it again, and it'll be super pretty. And then they're gonna stain it at the very end for me with just a teak oil. They're gonna oil it so I can keep it oiled, and you won't believe your eyes when it's done. This is Christian, and his cousin. He's been helping me a lot. He did the entire bottom by himself. That's a huge job. That was about a 6-day job, and he's done with it every single day. Good job, bro. Buen trabajo. Abajo del barco.
Todo bien.
Es muy bonita. Y muchas gracias por tu ayuda. Okay, so let me show you what's going on here. The reason we don't have a floor is because we are redoing the floor. We're going to reseal the floor, and while the floor is out, I'm going to change all the plumbing here. We took all the cushions in to get cleaned and some of the fabric replaced because it was just faded and stained and messed up. This is getting redone right here because it was messed up. The fascia to a bunch of these are getting done. That's why they're missing. This one, this one. You can see he's redoing this trim piece right now, and he's going to do that one, this one, and that one for all the boat, the whole boat. Yeah. And then this is still floor that's being replaced. Floor. Christian is going to come in here and clean all this. This is just like sediment and salt and stuff from over the years, so he's gonna clean it all up and make it blue again. Let's see what else. I'd like to get a new mirror, but I don't think that's gonna happen here. This needs to be water jet cut, and that is that's what happens with mirrors. It's glass with aluminum foil behind it. If you haven't seen yet, I put a washing machine in here with Korean writing because it was the only one I could get. That's small, but it works, and you just remember what button to push. It's the same 2 buttons every time. Let's see, so this is the plumbing that I'm putting in. It's called Propex. It's nice, perfect plumbing. I've got all the parts for it here. This is all the little pieces, and like this is a 90-degree turn angle thing for it. There's a ton of those in there. Anything you don't see a cover on, he's replacing the face of it. Those 2 drawers there, and then back here you can see he's redone this fascia here. This is veneer, teak veneer, and then he'll stain that to be the same color as the others. He's going to redo this one. You see the difference? That's why he's redoing it. It's got a little water damage there, so he's going to redo that. He'll redo that. This board. I'll show you one he's redone right now. So this one had a bunch of holes in it, and it's beautiful now. It's one nice big piece. It's beautiful. So that's what he's doing. You can see here, this is one that he redid last time. So you can see the difference in color from this to that. I mean, you can only see if I show you, really. And on the camera it looks definitive, but really it's not that bad when you're here. but that's what it'll look like. Still teak, just redone. I'm also taking out a couple through holes in here. This one I'm taking out right there, and the other one for the bathroom up here. That one that's in the very front right there. That way, you know what? It's going to be better because people can put stuff in the bilge and they can use that for storage, and they don't have to worry about the through hole breaking off. If you're not using a through hole, get rid of it if you can. If you're going to pull out, you can always put it back in. It's not a big deal. That's about it for the huge jobs. I mean, this is big jobs. These are huge, all huge jobs. Painting up the top side. What we mean by the top side when we say paint the top side is the white. All the white on the whole boat's going to be painted, including this. That's a lot of work in and of itself. And you know what? At the end of this video, we're going to talk about what I paid for this work. Dude, you're not going to believe it.
Kill the lights here. So many dreams shattered and cold. We've been here always. The wheel keeps turning. Just a few more steps now. Then we'll never go back home. Oh, Lucifer, is it you running there? Are you satisfied? Or are you searching for the light? Oh, I'm by high, and I can't help wonder why. Are you all so tired? Or are you driving me light? Oh, Lucifer, is it you running there? Are you satisfied? Are you searching for the light? I can't help wonder why. Are you all so tired? Are you driving me tonight? Lucifer, is it you running there? Are you satisfied? Are you searching for the light?
Okay, so you can see that this is a new piece right here. This is part of the problem I've been dealing with since I bought this boat. Somebody paid for repair on the teak deck, and this is what they got. This is a piece of plywood with teak veneer on top. It's definitely two pieces. It's definitely plywood. It's just a piece of shit. And I had to rip out probably, I don't know, like 20 corner pieces, because somebody, I think what happened was the previous owner paid for teak repair, and he got plywood with teak veneer. Because I don't believe anybody that owns an oyster would actually do that on purpose. At least I don't want to believe that. And they've replaced a piece here and there. They've replaced a piece here. You can see how it's proud. They'll shave that down. All of this is new. This is part of that that plywood job I told you about. So all this caulking is new. They're not going to have to replace that. But this is all new teak here around this and around the other side. This part popped up. They used this as a spacer and they epoxied it in. They're going to have to cut that off and probably drill it out again. Lots of sawdust. Teak sawdust. That's nice sawdust. They're going to take and plug these holes and then sand this part down to flush, and then they'll plug all these holes with plugs. But there is a spot up here that they had to plug. Those three are the pieces that got messed up when my forestay broke, and this ended up hitting that. Oh man, that was a nightmare. I don't want to go through that again. That's for damn sure. Yeah, really happy with the deck work. Martin's here. He's the one that did the arch. He's doing solid tubes on the top of the lifelines. You can see here what he's doing. Cutting all the tubes so he can let this
just lay a tube on top of it, it'll make it a lot easier for him. So it'll go from here all the way back. It'll be a solid tube. And I was debating on whether to do this one as solid tube or not. I'm just not sure. The paint guys are next, okay? La próxima es la pintura. Mejor por final.
Ya.
So when you prep for paint, you gotta make sure you fill all these holes. And obviously that one didn't do a very good job. So they're gonna have to fill that again, and then sand it again, and then primer it, and then sand it, and then primer it, and then sand it, then they can paint it. They've primered the entire boat just for, well, except for the back, just to see what the damage is and where they need to do a better job. And they're now sanding and filling and grinding and figuring out where the problem areas are to make a very, very smooth hull. Like this was a problem yesterday, and now it looks a lot better. Look. It's hard to tell with the matte paint. You need something glossy. That's why they put the primer on it. So you can see right here, this is another area that was a little bit bowed out. It just had a little bit of bow. This is where the watertight bulkhead is. And just from the boat flexing, it's caused a little bit of a ripple there. Just a little ripple, because that's stronger than the rest of the hull. It may have been when they made the boat, or it may have been over the last 30 years sailing it. But this part needs to be shaved down a little bit and faired, just so it's all really nice. Buen trabajo! And then we've still got the bottom job going on. The bottom job is a huge job. The more faired your hull bottom is, the easier it is to take care of, the less barnacles you'll get on it, the less algae you'll have on it. It's just nice. Again, I'm sorry for the noise. They've got, air tools running and sanders running, but this is part of the boatyard. Okay, so this is actually already prepped. This is ready for paint, or actually primer first. But the way that this boat is built, this is the keel right here. This, from here below is the lead. From here above is part of the mold, and it's fiberglass. It's called a keel stub. Well, what happens there is you have a big piece of lead attached to a piece of fiberglass. They move differently. It's got Sikaflex inside. It's got some adhesive inside it, and that's what's holding it onto the boat. And these humongous bolts. But the Sikaflex keeps any water from getting out. The adhesive that's on here is very, very, very good adhesive, very expensive, like what the best known to man, really. So there's 3 zincs on this boat. One here, one there, and one on the end of the propeller. And they all protect different things. The one here is protecting the shaft. The one here is protecting the strut. The strut needs to be protected too, and then the one on the back of the propeller obviously is protecting the propeller. And it works because the zinc is a less noble metal than the bronze or the stainless, and the zinc goes away and the bronze stays or the stainless stays. Señor.
Mira, a ver.
Ah, yeah. Sí, mejor. Ahora necesitamos llenar.
Nuevamente,
Sí.
para que seque y... Okay.
Exactamente. Porque this is a through hole that I took out. And I'm having Felix sand down the cabo that I used. This is epoxy with Cabosil. It makes it really hard, like a diamond. So this is never coming out. This is how you fill a through hole. If you need a bigger hole than this, you need some fiberglass. But just a little hole like that, you can just cabo it. And what we need to do is get every single imperfection filled with epoxy. So he's shaving it down, and then we'll get all these holes filled with one last layer of epoxy filler. And then we can shave it down one time, and then it'll be ready to paint. I'm gonna get back to you guys in a little bit. I'm really hot and sweaty. It's hot out here. Woo-wee! It's gonna be a new boat.